Angel, who holds the validation you seek and what qualifies them? Shapfere is Zinj. When you are held back because you keep seeking validation from people who've never tried anything, people who've never taken risks, they don't even have the life, the kind of life that you want, but you still seek validation from those people. For example, your absent father. You know very well that that relationship only functions when you, the child, gets to be the bigger person and assume the role of reaching out and initiating conversations. Until when, Siswami? Who holds the validation you seek? And what about them qualifies them to do so? And I ask this because there should be people holding the validation you seek. I need you, though, to be comfortable with revising constantly who gets to be in that position. Because if you are writing a regulatory exam, that institution, whether it's CFI, whether it's SAICA, at certain points in your life, those people hold the validation you seek. If you are in a mentorship relationship, that mentor holds the validation you seek because at some point you sat down with this person and drafted things. So for you to see those things through, he or she holds the validation you seek. So when you seek promotions at work as well, that manager, that team leader, they hold the validation you seek. My problem is you don't revise enough who gets to have the validation you seek. To this day, you are 27. And you are held back because the people that you think and are submitting to as people who are holding the validation you seek are still the people Ekasi. Yet you've conquered Ikasi. The people who are holding the validation you seek are the teachers who spoke bad upon your life, yet you survived that. So it is not their problem, it is you, because you are failing to revise at certain phases in your life who gets to be the person that holds the validation you seek. When you're constantly going to be frustrated because you keep seeking to be understood by people who've committed to not understanding you. You're constantly never going to be appreciative of how far you've come because yours, it was about proving people wrong. How about you start proving yourself right? Who holds the validation you seek and what qualifies them? Your mentor holds the validation you seek because there's something there about them that you would like to have for you one day. Your boss holds the validation you seek because if he's happy, promotions may be on the way. There are people that should hold the validation you seek, but even them, it can't be forever. So it can't be that today, because they were jealous of you growing up or whatever it is that you think about them, is the person who's holding the validation you seek today. You will be frustrated because sometimes your ambition gets you out of certain spaces, but mentally you are still looking to prove people in those spaces wrong. So you will never really get to appreciate your achievements for what they are because you've given the wrong people the power to validate you. If I've never been one to walk the journey, I can never be able to celebrate you that has made it this far to this journey. If I've never qualified for a bond, you securing a house through a bond will never be a point of celebration to me. So who holds the validation you see? Sometimes you're asking too much from incapable people. You are asking your family members to celebrate your graduation and they left school, what grade 2? Who holds the validation you seek and what qualifies them? And sometimes it's not people that hold the validation you seek. It's institutions. As a business person, CIPC at some point holds the validation you seek. The student, your institution holds the validation you seek because you know the weight of your institution, the weight of your degree and your transcript. So it is that holds the validation you seek. When you make compromises in life and niche yourself certain things, it is because you are seeking validation. You are seeking to cross the great hall. Once you've done that, then you've conquered. After doing that, you need to check out. There are football fans who will push you at the stadium because the validation they seek is there by Themba Zwane's wave. There are people on Twitter who don't mind fabricating lies because the validation they seek is there by Elon Musk. There are people at church who will fight you for that seat in the front row because the validation they seek is there by the pastor and the examples he uses during the sermon. Who holds the validation you seek and why? Once you get this right, you will stop entertaining frivolous conversations. You need to be very honest with yourself. Because if you are pivoting from health sciences to accounting, HPCSA must cease to hold the validation you seek. Now you must deal with SAICA. So check out and constantly revise the people and the institutions that carry the validation you seek. When you make it out of the township, those ladies in pink gowns in the morning should cease to hold the validation you seek. Because the reality is you will not please everyone. And each version of you submits to different people and different institutions. And those are time sensitive. So in each time that you do things, figure out who holds the validation you seek and what qualifies them to do so. Shapfere is Zinj. Pella, your absent father didn't bother to even know your favorite ice cream flavor. So, trusting him with critical parts of your wedding, of course, you must expect disappointment. When you want the right things from the wrong people, who holds the validation you seek and what qualifies them? I need you to come back and let the main person be the main person in your life, and that is you. I need you to start your healing journey so that when you get to places where people in your family who turn themselves into prophets and said you will never ever do 1, 2, 3, when you eventually get there, the first thing in your mind is not them. The first thing in your mind is you and how far you've come, and you're able to celebrate that. But it's about applauding you for the work you've done, for the grit and the commitment you've displayed to get to this level of success. It should cease to be about the comments they made, because you eventually conquered. When you have conquered, why do you still need to go back there and remind them? Once there is the satisfaction in your life, once that void is filled, once you let the main person be the main person, the competition ceases to be with people who didn't qualify in the first place. I need you to get to a point where even when the commitment you've saved in the things that got you the assets you have today, even when that starts paying off, you don't feel the need to show and tell. Even in meetings, family meetings, as someone who, because of who your mother was and what they deemed her as in the family, you don't feel the need to fight her battles, but you're so content in creating a home so warm for her that it doesn't matter what the others are thinking. So I don't want you to be the one who flexa makia unnecessary. Because the competition should cease to be about people who never qualified to begin with. Who holds the validation you seek and why?